Hello. So it is also my first time for maybe 3 years or 3.5 that I have never been in front of such a crowd. And I've done this before so many times online. So please forgive me if my hand will shake or anything can happen. My talk is about a day in the life of a Scrum Master. I will try to explain my example, my journey, and I'm going to use my paper and pen. And if you have any kind of paper or pen or pencil or whatever you use in your daily life, like it can be an iPad or whatever it is, if you will draw with me, it can be fun because this is the last talk before the lunchtime, I know. And let me introduce myself. I am a visual thinker and a visual learner. I need visuals to understand things better, and it helps me to remember or learn something new. I love nature, but I'm using a paper, right? I've been criticized before because of that. I love animals, I love art, and I like asking questions because I am curious about the whys behind all of the stuff. And I am an agile coach at Ericsson, coaching a really big team right now, which is focusing on HR. It's really interesting content. So my point is it's all about dual coding theory because I've been sketchnoting for more than 6 years, I guess. And I've just recognized that there is a theory behind it. Our brain is working in both sides, of course, but we usually use one side, and the visual side will help us to remember the things. And it works like a web service. If you see something, a word, and also the visual of it, your brain is coding it in both sides. And when you see the visual, it's just calling the other one. And when you see the word, the visual one comes. And the human brain uses 70% of its capacity to handle visual information. And also in the agile world, or let's say in our daily life when we are trying to work in an agile way, it's also very important to use visuals because it's really connected to transparency. These are some of the examples that I've done before. I try to use it on post-it notes as well. And I really focus on the content in terms of agility because I'm interested in, and it also helps me to improve. That is why I usually sketch note or just visual note-taking of the talks or podcasts which are talking about agile stuff. So this is another one, backlog refinement techniques. This is the revisions of Scrum Guide and Scrum Swarming. And now I will try to visualize a day in the life of a Scrum Master. So if you can draw with me. So I've just prepared my topic, not to lose our time. Yeah, and when we talk about a day, it usually starts with a sun, right? Morning. So I'm making a sun here, a sun which wasn't awake yet. And it's not only for the Scrum Masters, but for all of us, of course, starting our day with, I don't know, coffee. I know some people who doesn't like coffee. They're not coffee people, but it usually helps me. And maybe checking out some emails. Even it is kind of working from home. The stage looks like this. So it's the morning coffee. Starting a day, maybe saying good morning to some of the colleagues. And then it is probably, I believe most of us do the daily stand-up in the morning time, but it depends on the structure of the team or the time zones, right? Because I am now, for example, working with a team in which most of the members are from different zones, time zones, and we are having our daily at 2 p.m., which is good for the ones from the US and also for the ones from India, for example. But it's the best time in the morning, I guess. I am basically drawing a board with post-it notes, but it's not a stand-up nowadays, so it's more like a tool we're using. And here another little person is standing in front of the board, and another one. I am just paying attention to draw at least 3 people, and you know why it is, of course. Well, where's the Scrum Master? So I am. What does a Scrum Master do during a daily? Here. He or she should be observing, or if he or she has some opinions or insights, can give some advices, attending, just maybe only watching and checking. Scrum Master, 15 minutes. And then, maybe, most probably, it's time for doing some magic stuff. It's not actually magic, it's already there, but here, like a magician. And holding a magic stick and reviewing or updating some metrics. It can be a burn down chart, or velocity or any kind of metric, maybe talking to some people, stakeholders, happiness metrics maybe. So reviewing or updating the metrics here. And then here, guess what? During the daily Scrum, there has been an impediment showed up. The team was asking for Scrum Master's help or support. And so it is sort of, let's say, a superhero and trying to resolve the impediment. Here is the impediment we have. Just standing still in front of the team, blocking. Impediment. So resolving or making necessary actions, taking an action on resolving an issue that's been shared during the daily. And another one can be, these are all my examples by the way, so many things are happening in a Scrum Master's life, of course, and then he or she realizes that a new issue has been sent to a team member separately, just directly, which is urgent, very urgent. So an issue has been sent to the team. So what he or she should do, of course, talking to someone which we call the PO, and just ask him or her to take an action on it. He or she can fix it or communicate with the ones related people. And this is the issue. And Scrum Master says, please take it. It's yours. Here. Oh, it can be this way. And now it's time for a lunch break, which we are now maybe waiting for. So he or she can have the lunch alone, or this is a plate. It doesn't look like a plate, but drawing something, or maybe drinking something here, and maybe with another colleague or another Scrum Master. Maybe they're just sharing their ideas or their experiments, talking to each other. Just talking, chit-chatting, blah, blah, blah. Here. This is the lunchtime. Maybe it's enough if it's a Monday. Okay, so I think after the lunchtime it will be great to have some alone time for the Scrum Master. And maybe he or she is trying to prepare something for the upcoming retro or another event, or just maybe selecting an activity or improvement points that needs to be discussed during the retro, or setting the stage. We can call setting the stage, just preparing the template, thinking about any kind of team building activities maybe. Let's call it a retro, because I like to draw these faces for the retro, which is very common: mad, sad, and glad. So it's some alone time, and then maybe in the afternoon it's also nice to have some discussions with the other parties, stakeholders maybe, or other Scrum Masters, business owners, or maybe with the product owner, which is the best friend, I guess, of a Scrum Master. This is the PO, and thinking about what the Scrum Master is saying on, let's say, product development. Let's call it, this is the product. Let's call it discussion on product development in an empiric environment. It's a deep talk. Or they can talk about some kind of conflict management, maybe, dependencies, other stuff. And last, I think it is good to close the day with another alone time. Just only preparing training material, maybe building something, developing a blog, developing any other, or writing a blog, prep for a training, or maybe just doing some check-ins with the team members. Yeah. And it's the end of the day. Here it is. So it's my time to make some coloring or just content separation in order for anyone who did not attend this talk to understand which part is what. This is the lunch time. This is another activity, another one here. And I usually do more coloring around the people or the moon and the sun, or some kind of shadowing, like doing these shadowings to give some depth to the little people that I have drawn. Yeah, and this is it actually. I'm just now having fun, and I can take any questions if you have, or any other things that we can show here for a day in the life of a Scrum Master, because this is my example, Agile by example. So I am also here for learning, not only sharing.
You can go on and ask questions in Slido, and I have one already here. So, do you ever ask other people to create these sorts of images as a learning tool? Seems like a great workshop activity.
Yes, I usually do. You mean a kind of a workshop, just how to make it in a simple way? I used to do that, but I need to update my content. But yes, I usually do it. And I also use it to explain something to the teams, for example, that I am working with, and also sharing my ideas, or also just simply taking a meeting note. And I also have a template for it. Yeah, it's a nice and helpful way to understand and share the ideas.
So another question would be, is the Scrum Master's role depicted a little bit of babysitting the team members?
No, I don't think so. It's not babysitting. It's like coaching or mentoring, because why? I think that's because realizes that an issue has been sent to the team members separately. Is that because of that? You thought it's kind of babysitting? No. I think because Scrum Master is one of the team members, right? It's not out of the team. So it's not a babysitting role. It's just coaching, mentoring, being a part, just reading between the lines.
Another one. How do you found courage to draw in front of people?
I don't know. This is just so many practice that I made. And before that, it's actually another story. I was just painting before, maybe 15 years. And after that 15 years, I just turned up to draw some sticky mans, and it's not easy. But once you start and you practice, it's easy. So I have my visual library. I can draw something when I see a word that I used to draw many times before. For example, an idea. It's a light bulb kind of stuff. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks for that. And probably the last that jumped in was, could you share some templates with us or some tips how to draw those that you use, so we may use them?
I can share it in another session. Maybe it's not a template that I have, but there are so many people. For example, Mike Roddy, who is the father of sketchnoting, has a book for that, explaining all the layouts, lettering, and how to draw faces and figures. You can check out from the web, of course. There are so many resources.
So, I see there's not much other questions, so
Okay.
Thanks, Ceren,
Thank
for your
you.
talk.
Thank you.